This is episode 102 with me, Tiffany Hinton, and we're talking about sound therapy today, the healing benefits of sound for the body on Cultivating Guts. Hello, it's Tiffany, and welcome back to Cultivating Guts, a place where we're discussing living life to our fullest, tools for how to help the busy mom, just like myself, not get stressed. Or if we do get stressed and frustrated, move through it quickly and get back to this happy vibrational frequency of just loving life. I'm super excited to be back with you guys. I've had a lot of fun over the last week as we've evolved and had the rebirth of Cultivating Guts, and just fun in trying out AI, making reels, testing new stuff, coming up with new images. I love to create. I am a creator in my soul. So this has just been a blast. It's been super fun. And today we're going to talk about, and we're going to have a couple of different more podcasts giving you some education, but we're going to talk about sound healing. I am a certified level 1 sound therapist. I did that 2023. Yeah. Went and got that certification. It is quite a lot of studying, a lot of work, and 5 days of very intensive 10 hours a day in workshops with a master sound therapist to be certified. And then you have to pass an exam and turn in an essay. So I will say it's nothing that comes easy. There is a lot to go behind it, just like you would for any other course or certification that you're working on, right? You always have to study. We're trying to teach our girls that. Yesterday was parent-teacher conferences, lots of tidbits of information there as well. But you have to study, you have to want it, you have to be passionate about it to finish, right? And to commit to finish and to achieve what you set out for as a goal. And sound therapy for me at first was just a topic of interest, something that I thoroughly enjoyed myself. But then I was like, I wonder what I could do so I could give this enjoyment to others. And that was kind of the start of my path down to getting a sound therapy license. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on the podcast. If you want to watch this in video, I would suggest YouTube. You can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tiffany Hinton. It has also had a evolution. So if you jump over there, there's a couple of different things out there now. There is also a Cultivating Guts movement series, and there's a couple of short episodes there where I'm teaching you Kundalini yoga, breathwork techniques, and some other stuff to alleviate stress for the busy mom. And so hello if you're on YouTube. And let's see what else. Before we jump in, I would love for you to subscribe or click follow on whatever podcast platform you enjoy the most. So every time we have or I have a new episode coming out, you get a notification and you can go out and listen to it. Whether you want to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, I think the podcast is still on Google, whatever platform is your fave, right? With that, guys, I think we'll jump into the show. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the YouTube comments. I'll respond within the first few days that this episode goes live on YouTube. And if you have anything else that you're like, hey, I need a quick answer, DM me on Instagram at I am Tiffany Hinton, and I can get back to you there. I do get those notifications pretty quickly. I'm so grateful for you and all of our amazing listeners. And we're going to head right into the show, guys. All right. So in the intro, I started to talk about my journey to sound therapy. Let me elaborate on that a little bit. So sound baths, I don't know if you've ever experienced one. They are, for me, super enjoyable when they're put together and the frequency of the sound and the vibration is aligned with me, right? I can remember, I don't know if it was one of the first sound baths I ever attended, but one of the most memorable was at the Sears Tower, downtown Chicago, at night when the sky deck was closed. They had rented the sky deck for this sound bath. Everybody was laying on the floor, like the city lights were around us outside the windows. They had kind of shut off the lights in the sky deck. And her name was Cassie. She started to play, and I think she played for almost 45 minutes or more. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And then when it was over, you didn't want to leave. You just kind of wanted to sit there in the quiet and the still and just stare at the lights. It was just kind of very, very calming. And I had to take the train home that night. And that was more like, oh my gosh, welcome back to the real world. And then I experienced a sound bath at a yoga retreat in Joshua Tree. And Joshua Tree itself is an energetic epicenter. And that one was crazy. That was Meg Sylvester, I think, was the one person that did the sound bath there. And the visions and the clairvoyance, right? The visions that came through during that sound bath and the dreams and the astral travel, that was also very memorable. And I've been to other sound baths and sound healings over time. And so I feel like the fall of 2022, I was hanging out with Lori Longfield. So Lori, if you're listening, hello. And I was like, I want to go to sound healing school. I want to go get a sound healing certification. She's like, me too. And so we started both looking. And I know, at least in our modern age, anytime you say anything out loud, like all of a sudden you start getting ads for it, right? It starts popping up on your feed. And she found a sound healing therapy certification that was coming to the Chicagoland area, because I had found somewhere I would need to travel, like to Iowa or to travel to Arizona, or, like travel, get on a plane and go somewhere. She found one that was coming into the Chicagoland area. And it was so crazy because it was going to be like 10 minutes from where we lived. So I immediately was like, all right, I'm in. I signed up. Didn't even look into the details. Just like, all right, universe delivered. I'm signing up, paying in full. It's good. It was 16 weeks of lessons, curriculum, hundreds of hours of videos, homework that you had to complete before you could even go to that live 5-day intensive. Didn't know that, but it was all good, right? You build the muscle memory to understand it, the scientific, logical part to understand. And then the 5-day intensive, you could bring any instruments you owned. The lady that was teaching it, amazing, amazing. I would take anything from her ever again, because the way she instructs, it's experiential. She brought in like a U-Haul trailer of just instruments as well. And so 5 days of learning how to play crystal bowls, how to listen to the body's response and the currents, the frequencies, how to feel the vibrations in your body so that you can perform healing. Tibetan singing bowls, which are the metal bowls, gongs, drums, shakers, you name it. She had the instrument. She even had the Shruti box with her that she had gotten from India or somewhere and brought back overseas. It was amazing. So then you have to sit for an exam, you have to write an essay, and then you have to wait and see if they approve you, right, for your certification. And so that was all happening in 2023. And so last year, I got my sound healing license and certification there for a level 1 sound healer, which means that I could give sound healing therapy. I can practice sound healing and all of that stuff. And then I have my insurance, right? Like just like I have for coaching. And so that was how I got there. But today on the podcast, I want to give you some of the science, because I know a lot of times people are like, that's placebo. It only works if you believe it. Or that just doesn't work, right? And so we have this, I don't know, we'll call it a closed mind, right? We have a closed mind a lot of times for things that we haven't experienced, or we've had a bad experience with, or somebody, whether it's been a parent, somebody you trusted, an advisor, told you that it was false. And then you just have this belief because somebody else said, that don't work. And you're like, okay, that don't work. But if you never actually tried it and you never looked into the science to figure out if it really works, how do you really know? And so I am somebody who, as I have gotten older, I have opened up more to be like, tell me more about it. Let me try that. Can I have that experience to see if that's going to work for me? I have opened my mind, my body, my environment up to understand other things, right? And it has hugely benefited my own wellness, my health, my stress levels, like the ability to say, hey, let's just give it a go. Let's see what happens, right? Been amazing, truly amazing for me personally. So I would advise you, if you are somebody that tends to have a closed mind or thinks you know everything, or you let your ego get in the way, sometimes just say, hold on, let me go give this a try, right? But I'm going to give you some science today around sound healing, sound therapy, so that you can decide for yourself if this is something you might want to try or experience. And maybe you've already tried sound therapy and you're like, Tiffany, you're so right. It is relaxing. I walk away feeling like I'm rested. I feel like I've had like vacation, right, in an hour. And for those of you, I would say share that with others, because there is actual science that we're going to go through with sound healing and sound therapy around the benefits for our autonomic stress response system. And we'll do another podcast on ATP and autonomic stress systems and stress cycles. We're not going to dive into all that today. Okay, so what's the history of sound therapy? I actually went and got my notes from the program. So I'm going to flip some pages here, guys, because I'm going to give you the deets, right? We're going to get into the details because some of us, myself included, definitely my husband, we got to know. Give me the facts and then the experience. Now, like I said, I'm opening myself up a lot more to be like, I'll take the experience and then you can tell me the science. But old Tiffany needed the facts first, then to decide. So let me give you some facts, okay? History of sound healing is super, super old. So it started with Pythagoras and 5th century BC. So 5th century BC. We're talking old school, right? And Pythagoras said the most divine art is that of healing. It must occupy itself with the soul as much as with the body. So that means that it's getting into the soul, the spirit, the auric field, the energy of the being, as well as the physical body, the muscles, the nerves, right? The physical body. And then he went in to actually start to notice things. Pythagoras, right, noticed the spacing of the planets from the earth and aligned it to musical notes. And then he has geometric spheres that he also then aligned to musical notes. And he started to create this music based on science of Earth and like the frequencies of Earth and the planet rotations. Okay. Now, another place in history where sound healing shows up is in Kos. KOS, I might be mispronouncing it. It's a temple where Hippocrates learned his trade and he was the father of medicine. He developed a healing practice of dream incubation, which is kind of similar to modern day shamanic journeys that we hear about. And he also used sound as part of his dream incubation healing practice that Hippocrates was using. Okay. We get into then the elements of sound healing and like the quantum theory, where slower vibrations gives us a material item. And then higher vibrations of the atoms and the particles, right, speed stuff up. It's how it works. So at lower vibrations, we're in the body. So 128 hertz, right? But when you get up into like 528 hertz, you're with the soul and the spirit of the body, the energy of the body. I'm not talking about like a religious spirit or a religious soul here, right, guys? I'm talking about the soul or the spirit of the body and the fact that it's the energy of the body, the frequency that you put out around you, the auric field, okay? And so sound healing itself doesn't just tap into the muscles. It does. You can feel the vibration of the sound on your body, but it also changes the vibration of that spirit and soul piece of the body itself too. And so the science there, right? Go back to quantum theory. Slower vibrations gives material items. And so when we get into the lower vibrations of sound, like think of even like a car, and when they have the bass turned up and you can feel the vibration in the seat, right? Or in the floor of the vehicle, or you're in the car next to them at the stoplight and you feel the music. That is a lower vibration, but you're feeling the vibration. Now, the interesting thing about lower vibrations, sometimes they're not so great for the body, but they get into the body and they start to move things. But then you want to raise the frequency so that you can create healing. And we'll get into that. Okay. But it's going to start with the body, the sound healing. It's going to then work on the emotions, then the mind, which, yes, that's the mind, the logical part of our body, then your soul, and then the spirit pieces. Okay. And it's going to go from the solid with the body. The emotions tend to be liquid. They tend to be in your blood. They tend to be in the water of the body. Your mind is attributed to gas, soul is plasma, and spirit is ether. That's just how these align in this sound therapy practice. Okay. I'm going to move us forward a little bit. Okay, a couple of things to also remember. Sound therapy treats the whole person, not just the symptoms. It's also going to treat the emotions. And if you remember in functional medicine, maybe you don't, but in functional medicine, we know that the symptoms result from things that have been going on emotionally, physically, environmentally. So sound therapy treats body and emotions. It may not treat the environment, but it starts to get in there to under the disease, under the symptoms, to start to eradicate it. Okay. Okay. And then the other thing to keep in mind around sound therapy is it's integrating ancient wisdom, modern science, art, musicality, and the alchemy of healing into one type of healing practice. And that's kind of really cool. It's like they call it mystery and grace. It's embracing mystery and grace because we don't always know how it works, although we do know it works through frequency and vibration. But it works, and it's not a placebo effect. It actually does work, and you can measure it energetically. You can measure the frequencies. Okay, now I want to kind of just glance and see what else here. Okay, the effects of sound healing. It's the sonic waves that come off the instrument and the vibration that penetrates down to our cellular level as a human, and it helps dissolve trauma and reset the cells to their natural patterns. So if you've ever heard of like Om, right, the Om current, that's kind of our natural happy state of I'm comfortable, I'm calm, that resetting of the cells. I actually have an Om bowl from Tibet that was shipped to me after it was handmade, and you can place it on the body, on the stomach, on the low back, and play it, and the person receiving the therapy then feels that vibration, but it's the sonic waves in that vibration are then penetrating down to the cellular level to dissolve the trauma that might be resting there, whether it's trauma from exercise and muscle aches and whatever, or emotional trauma or physical trauma. There's different types of trauma, right? Big T's, little T's, all of that. And it resets the cells to their natural pattern, allowing them to calm the inflammation and relieve the pain. Now, it doesn't always work in one session because some of us have layers and layers of trauma, layers and layers of misuse of our muscles or overuse of our muscles or just abuse that we need to kind of just let the sound and the cells heal over time. Tom O'Brien talks about how cells reproduce cells. We know that. That's part of biology. But when a cell reproduces a cell, it can either reproduce a cell higher, meaning it's more healed, or lower, meaning it's less healed. So if you have a cell and it's got a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 is like the optimal cell, like energized, perfect, it's got everything it needs, there's no disease, there's no problems with it, and then 1 is like, oh my God, this cell is now developing cancer, and you're sitting at a 5, and you've gone through sound therapy, your next cell may produce at a 6 or a 7. But again, if you've gone through sound therapy and now you're still eating processed food, drinking diet pop, all of that, your cell may still just stay at the 5, or it may still produce at a 4 because you've got environmental factors you haven't fixed yet, right? They could be things from pollution in the air to things you're intaking in your body. The other thing that sound therapy does is it's going to relax the nerve plexuses. It's relaxing the muscles and the tissue, and it's promoting the blood and the lymphatic circulation. So they always say because of the lymph nodes and the lymphatic circulation, drink a lot of water. Make sure you can like flush all of that out as it's promoting that to circulate more. I also learned in the last week, or was reminded, when our blood has better circulation, our body temperature is warmer. So if you're somebody that's sitting there and you're freezing all the time, you might need to think about how do you get better circulation? Sound therapy can help with better circulation. And sound therapy can work through headphones, but it can also work by putting the instruments, right, on the body, close to the body. It can even be tuning forks. So any of that works, right? You don't have to have a personal sound therapy session to get the benefits. You can listen to the music through your speakers, through your headphones, through your car, through your surround sound at home, and still get the benefits of sound therapy because the speakers will put vibrations into the air. Sound therapy then also balances the autonomic nervous system, calming stress and revitalizing fatigue. Now, for me personally, a lot of times it makes me relaxed and calm, and I do want to go sleep afterwards, but it calms and revitalizes fatigue as well. If you're exhausted, there are different currents and frequencies you can play that would then help you have more energy and not be as fatigued. Okay. And then it calms the traumatized cells, allowing the body to accelerate its natural healing ability and boost recovery, which is very cool, right? All of us, I think, would love to have our recovery boosted. That to me is awesome when you're trying to recover from surgery, you're trying to recover from an extreme workout, maybe it's a big hike, or you're trying to just recover from a stressful situation. The sound therapy can help boost that recovery and shorten that recovery time. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, how about outcomes that are not physical that you get from sound therapy? So it impacts our bioenergetic fields, our chakras, our meridians, our sound body, our aura, right? That spirit soul part of the body, of ourselves, of our being. Those in turn are going to influence your physical conditions, your endocrine glands, your hormone balance, and your organ function. So if you are a woman, busy mom, you're super stressed because of your ATP sequence, because of everything that's going on with the stress, fight or flight, and that cycle of stress, it's going to affect your hormones. It's going to affect all these things happening. And the sound therapy will influence those conditions and start to make them decrease and go away. It can also help create wellness for people with special needs, emotional and mental balances, because it can help balance the hemispheres of the brain. Okay. And there's specific things we do with tuning forks to help bring the right and left hemisphere of the brain into balance. And they teach us how to do that. And then healing may occur at your soul spirit, deep peace, acceptance, surrender. A lot of people even suggest having sound frequencies playing when somebody is in hospice or they're getting ready to pass, because it can help with just that peace that they need to kind of let go and move on from life. I know it's a little like deep, dark, but it's what it is. Okay, 6 main ways it works. Give me 1 second. Okay, 6 main ways that it works. It triggers relaxation response, counterbalancing the chronic stress. It releases and any suppressed emotions in connection with voice work, gongs, singing bowls, and drums, or those things are super good at releasing those suppressed emotions. Okay. Balances the biosound field. So the distance from light field, your aura, and works, and you do this with tuning forks. So do you guys know your aura can be like right around your body, like super tight, and then it can get up to like 9 feet all around you, up and below you. But that depends on where your frequency is vibrating at. And they call that like the light field. And they always think about like envisioning white, bright light. But your auric field can change and grow just through sound therapy. It entrains the body and emotions. So especially with drums, we can move the body into gamma, beta, alpha, just like if you were moving through deep sleep or other sleep waves, you can do that through drums. The 5th way is I got 2 5s on my page. Anyway, 5, number A. The 5th, it transforms beliefs. So the conscious mind, 5%, the subconscious mind is 95% of how we act, how we respond, what we believe. And there's a powerful effect on our emotions and our DNA through sound therapy. And again, it opens us up and it changes some of our subconscious patterning to allow us to change our beliefs. Or even if you've got beliefs that you want to unstick because you know that they're not true, they're bullshit, sound therapy can help you move through those beliefs and create new belief patterns and new values. 5, number B, it's going to engage the Healy. And then number 6, it's going to help you set intentions. So you can do very intentional, clear ideas, visualizations while the sound therapy is happening, and it's going to implant those nicely into the body, into the subconscious brain, to allow us then to change those beliefs that we want to change and move forward in our lives. All right. Looking to see really quickly if there's, because this is getting to be a longer podcast, but it's totally okay. Let's find, oh, here we go. This is more science. I told you this was going to be a science podcast. Okay. So our body has an electromagnetic field. Okay. Our electromagnetic field is made up of energy. It's familiar to most people. Most people already understand light and heat and radio waves and like x-rays, right? That's all electromagnetic energy. But electromagnetic radiation is the transverse wave, meaning that it is the oscillations are perpendicular to the direction of the energy transfer and travel. Okay. Those do not require a medium to travel through or move. They can travel across empty space. And that's where sound gets in here, right? Sound waves can travel across empty space. So you won't see when you smack a drum, it go and move out like ripples, but you could feel it in the air. They can travel in this empty space. And the full range of these wavelengths that travel is known as the electromagnetic spectrum. That's how we get radio, because it travels through empty space and we get radio waves and we can hear the radio without having to plug it in or have, whatever. It just comes through the air off a radio tower. That's the same way that the sound is going to travel through the empty space to your body if somebody is playing an instrument or they're playing tuning forks or they're playing crystal bowls. It's going to travel through to then vibrate into your muscles and your cells. And it's going to do that through electromagnetic energy. The other interesting piece of scientific research, there's a place called the Institute of Heart Math. They do a lot of scientific research around the heart. They currently are studying how the electromagnetic waves of our heart that we emit are influencing other people around us. So as a mom, have you ever had a child that's just feeling sad or they've been injured and you give them a hug and all of a sudden they're smiling and laughing and off they go again? Your frequency of your heart was transmitted to them through those electromagnetic waves. And so that is just point in time how it really happens, guys. Okay. I'm wondering, how deep do we go? Maybe not super deep. How about we find, trying to really quickly, I should have went through and, sorry, I should have went through and bookmarked a couple of things as we went through here. Okay, this is really cool too. So music as medicine for the being, right? For the human. So rhythm is medicine for the body, right? We feel the vibration. We feel it in the muscle. We feel it in the cell. Melody is medicine for our heart. Harmony is medicine for the soul. Silence is medicine for the mind. And inner music is medicine for the spirit. And so when you go to a sound therapy session or you're listening to music on the radio or on streaming, you want to look for things that have all of those components. They've got a rhythm, they've got a melody, they've got a harmony, and they've got some silence, right? Or you create the silence in between, because that is super cool. And then the other thing they call like perfect harmony or the perfect fifth. I am not a musician, but the perfect fifth, you can create that resonance and that will trigger the release of suppressed emotion. So if you've ever been listening to a song and all of a sudden you cry, or somebody's playing the piano and you start to tear up, or you've been in a sound bath and all of a sudden you start to tear up or start to cry or release some sort of emotion. You could even want to scream. That could be your release of an emotion, right? That's because they're now playing the perfect fifth. And you can do that. The common perfect fifth when it comes to sound therapy is playing a C and a G at the same time. The other one that works for emotion, like deep traumatic emotion release is a major 7. So playing a C and a B at the same time. So you can do that through singing bowls, or you could do that through crystal bowls, or even, like I said, tuning forks, the piano, those things. Perfect fifth is going to work to release and relax the trauma of the body and the emotions there. And then the actual suppressed emotions from traumatic experiences is going to be major 7. So if you are a musician, there's some insight for you. I would love to know, guys, if, and you can put this in the comments, if you've been to a sound bath or sound healing experience, what was your experience? How did it go for you? Like, put that in the comments. Share with me how it went for you. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff that we could learn from each other here. I'm sure that there's other people that play sound therapy for their clients, and they've got some awesome insights as well to share. My whole gist today on the podcast was to start to inform you, give you some education, because as many of you know, Cultivating Guts is reborn. Cultivating Guts has changed, and I am truly helping busy, stressful moms through sound, movement, breathwork, and herbs. That's what we're doing. It's very simple. There's 4 pillars. They work together, and when you bring them together, you get amazing healing. I am going to do one self-promotion really quickly. This is, this will be available when this podcast comes out. So here we go, guys. One of the brand new things that we have created for the holiday season, for the going into the holiday season for the busy, stressful mom, is a holiday toolkit. So it is our holiday stress toolkit for the busy mama. The holiday stress toolkit for the busy mama. And what I love about the new toolkit that I created is that you do it on your own time. You do it in the spaces you need. You can do it from your laptop, from your phone. You can download it and play it when you're laying in bed. But our holiday kit for the busy mama, let me go through a little bit of what's in there, and then we'll get the link below this video as well. But you're going to get a full 15-minute movement class to help you with your somatic release, right? Somatic healing is big right now. We'll get into that on a different podcast. We're going to incorporate breathwork, kundalini, and some sound into that full 15-minute class. What I can tell you is myself, I've been doing yoga and kriyas 7 years now. 15 minutes is like the sweet point in the morning. I can find 15 minutes before I hop in the shower, or right after the kids get on the bus before I have to log into work. Or even if I have to go into the office, which a lot of us have to go back to the office now, myself included, I can get in that 15 minutes, then get in the shower, and then still get to work on time. So 15 minutes is like the sweet spot. So you're going to get a 15-minute class. You're going to get 2 recipes with our holiday stress kit, 2 intentional recipes to bring rosemary into your lives. Rosemary itself is an herb that creates protection, and it relieves stress. Hello, relieving stress, right? This is the holiday stress toolkit for the busy mom. So we're going to get you a self-care for rosemary salts that you can put in your bath, or you can take and put on your desk to smell. You can use them in ritual. And then we're also going to get you a rosemary focaccia recipe that you can use. Holiday parties, gatherings, take it to the neighbors, super easy to make and super good for you. And so we're going to get you that recipe. So you'll have 2 recipes. You will have a monograph. So if you are into herbs and you're into herbalism, you're going to know the monograph is kind of like a grimoire page. Grimoire. I'm going to work on that word. Page. It's going to tell you, here's rosemary. Here's the Latin name for rosemary. Here's the origins. Rosemary, like their elements. What is it good for medicinally, herbally, magically, all of that stuff? Does it have any contradictions? That'll all be in a download for you, nicely laid out. And then I'm also going to give you a ways to use rosemary in your daily life and how to incorporate it during the holiday season to give you that auric protection that you need. Because some of us just need to put up some boundaries and we need a little support, but also to give you the relief of stress throughout your day. And then we have a Spotify playlist specifically for refreshing and moving stress out of your lives that you can just get up and dance to. So that is all going to be in our holiday stress toolkit for the busy mama. If you would like information on that holiday stress toolkit for the busy mama, click on the link below this video. If you're catching this on, I just stuck my tongue out at you if you were not on video because my brain had a pause for a minute. YouTube. If you're catching this on YouTube, then you can comment Holiday Stress Toolkit, and I will drop the link for you to click on there as well if that's easier. I know sometimes when I'm watching YouTube on my phone, I can't get into all that other stuff, but it's very easy just to comment, and I'll give you the link that way. This is out for right now, limited time, and super excited to be sharing it with you. The other thing I will tell you is super exciting. We have a free 5-day challenge coming. Details coming on that. Watch for information on Instagram at I am Tiffany Hinton to join the free 5-day challenge, where each day we're going to do many things to get stress out. Stress out, right? Don't stress out. Move the stress out. We got to be happy this season. We got to be smiling. We got to find joy. And I know the holidays can get a little tight for a mom and a little overwhelming. So I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you. And I'm excited. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Share with me what you learned. And again, any questions, drop them in the YouTube chat. I'll be there for the first few days and I'll get responses back to you. Ask me anything. I'm here for you. And I'm excited to see your benefits and to see your own stress levels go down. Satnam. Love you guys. If you love this episode, remember to share it with your friends or anyone who you think may love this inspiration, actually this education and information that was shared today and could help them. To get our holiday stress toolkit for the busy mama, you can click the link below and grab that right from our website at cultivatingguts.com/holiday stress toolkit. And also, if you're interested in any of the other stuff we've got going on, please shoot me a DM. Follow us on Instagram. You'll find out about the upcoming 5-day free challenge at IamTiffanyHinton.com. And we have everything you need to kind of get going and moving forward with de-stressing your life, including, like I said at the beginning, the new movement series on YouTube, along with the brand new podcast coming out and daily reels over on Instagram. We're here for you. And I am so excited to be here with you. Thank you for joining us today on the podcast.